Yeah.
It's George.
It's Elaine.
Come on up.
Hey, buddy, listen to
I never heard anything like this in my life. Listen to this.
This is exciting! This is exciting! Huh? Did I miss anything already?
Kramer, get in!
Where's the crazy man?
Hey! Sit down. Come on, it's about to start.
Hello, and welcome to Seincast, a retrospective on all 180 episodes of Seinfeld, being hosted by two guys who can barely run their own lives. My name is Vinny.
My name's Matt.
How you doing, Mike?
Pretty good, Carol. How are you doing?
Excellent.
I think right out the gate, I want to ask you, did you see this Night of Too Many Stars on Comedy Central last week?
I only saw one bit posted online. It had nothing to do with Seinfeld, but it was a lovely memory from my childhood. It was the Adam Sandler, Bob Barker bit, and they brought back the bit from Happy Gilmore where they got in the fight, and it was absolutely wonderful. So entertaining, so funny. Anyway, this is a Seinfeld show. So what was related to Seinfeld about this?
Well, I have to agree. That was wonderful. That whole the whole night, it was about an hour and 40 without commercials. It was a charity event, sort of a pledge drive, as it were, to raise awareness for autism. And there was all these comedians were there. Jon Stewart hosted it, but you had Sarah Silverman, you had Jim Gaffigan, Steve Carell was there, just like everyone. Who's who. In particular, though, Larry David was there. He was one of the guys, at the phone bank taking calls.
Are you serious?
And I feel like we missed out on a great opportunity.
Oh, I'm pissed now.
Well, he was next to Martin Short that evening, and they did this little bit where Larry was talking to someone on the phone, and as he's talking to this person, Martin Short would take the phone and then pretend he's Larry David, and they would go back and forth and see if the person on the other line even noticed. And apparently they didn't. So
did Martin Short do the Larry David voice?
Yeah, you can actually do a really good Martin Short impersonation of Larry David.
Well, I'd like to bring up, this is an exact replica of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry's in a store, he's talking to some woman, and he sees Martin Short walking along outside. So he runs outside and wants to do voices with Martin Short. He's like, "Whoa, what's that voice you do with the Primetime Glick show?" And Larry tries to do the impression. He's like, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, how are you?" and of course Martin Short's like, "No, you're not doing it right. It takes a lot more skill to do this." And Martin Short ends up saying to Larry, "You've got sort of that flat New York thing." And that always stuck out to me. So when you describe this Night of Many Stars, that's what I'm seeing.
It's pretty much exactly what he sounded like. Larry was losing it the whole time. Like anytime Martin took the phone and did that voice, Larry would just crack up. So I'll try to find a video. If not, I'll play some audio here.
Do an impersonation of Larry David, so I'm going to try to take the phone from the person from Larry and see if they know there's a difference.
Oh, he's a teacher with children of autism. Oh, okay, that's very nice. Very nice, yeah.
And so, is this something? Did you train for this or what? Can anyone train for this, or how do you learn something like this? Keep talking. Now, you keep talking.
Yeah. You what? It sounds like it's very rewarding work, though. Well, isn't it? Yeah.
And then when you're off time, do you like to go to Coney Island or Europe, or what do you do? Golf is pretty good, didn't you say?
Oh, yeah, definitely pretty good. Yeah.
How about we move on to a little bit of Seinfeld news?
Hey, I got news for you.
Great news. All right, I got news. You ready?
What?
It could be considered Seinfeld news. Could also be considered Fish in the Dark news. Anyway, Larry David was on Fresh Air with Dave Davies, and he was talking about Fish in the Dark as well as little bits from Seinfeld, and he even talked about Steinbrenner doing the voice. But nice little sound bites he gave. I enjoyed listening to him. I could actually listen to LD do a podcast. I think he'd be very suited for some sort of talk program.
Yes, absolutely. He the interview is only about like half hour long, but I pulled a few clips here. Should we play them for everyone?
Sure.
Okay. This is from March 7th, 2015. So if you guys, when you're done listening to our podcast, you can just download this episode via Fresh Air. It's a podcast. Here we go. This is the first clip is, I think, Larry just talking about, the future when he was growing up in Brooklyn and, what he was going to do with his life.
Did you have any sense of your future back then? Do you remember?
Just whatever it was, in my head, it was bleak. I don't remember having any ambitions, any goals, any dreams. It was always, how am I going to get by? What am I going to do? But I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't really give it much thought. Even in college, I didn't give it much thought. I was having fun in college, and basically when people asked me what I was going to do, I just said, no, something will turn up. What that was, I had no idea.
And did your parents have any particular expectation?
Zero. Zero expectations. My mother, I've said this before, she wanted me to work in the post office. She wanted me to be a mailman because she thought I'd get a pension and I'd be taken care of. I would have security. And that was her dream. That was the best case scenario, that I would be a mailman.
You were going to be Newman.
I was going to be Newman, exactly. Newman was very happy.
Steady work. You got a health
plan.
Right.
Newman is one of the happiest guys on television. Come on.
Right. He knows who he likes and who he doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and the hours were good.
Right.
They just dropped some mail off. It seemed like a decent job.
How did your parents react to your success?
They quite stunned by it. When Seinfeld was the number one show in the country, my mother would call me up and go, Larry, do they like you? Do they think you're doing a good job? Are they going to keep you? What do they say to you? Do they tell you you're good? She was very insecure.
You can really tell that Larry gets a lot of his character traits from his mother. He doesn't mention his father as much as in interviews, but he always does that impression of his mother. Do they like you, Larry? What are they thinking about you, Larry? He's done that in Curb, but he's done that in other interviews. But man, that's fascinating to hear.
Yeah, I love that. Just that insight on just what's going on in his mind, pre-Seinfeld, really even stand-up, that he had nothing planned. He had nothing on the horizon. And man, what a completely different path he could have taken in life, being a mailman of all people.
Well, he kind of had the outlook of Jerry in that, things will work out. I'll find something.
Even Steven?
There you go.
Yeah. The thing about these Larry David interviews, as you mentioned, he's so popular with just Fish in the Dark and whatnot. They get a little repetitive.
Yeah, we're starting to hear all of his stories now, and they're starting to be repeated.
Mm-hmm. But this Fresh Air interview is by far my favorite out of at least the ones I've heard so far. We talked about the Katie Couric, Matt Lauer, and Charlie Rose interviews last week.
Don't forget he was on Howard Stern as well.
Oh, that's right. That's a great one, too. This is sort of like the Howard Stern one in the sense that it's just very natural. I think it helps not to have a camera and lights right on your face. Mm-hmm. It's just, you and another guy having a conversation. But anyways, here we have another clip here. This is about Larry sticking to his guns as a writer while working on Seinfeld, and he gets into the Chinese restaurant, sort of the difficulties they faced getting that episode made.
It didn't seem like I had much of a choice. I don't think that I don't think that my hand would have cooperated with my brain if my brain was telling my hand to write something it didn't really want to write. But I remember when there was some interference from NBC with Seinfeld when we first started doing it. And fortunately, I didn't have a family at the time. So it was very easy for me to say to them, no, I'm quitting. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that, and I can't do it. And for me, it wasn't a big deal to just pack up and go home. Like I said, I didn't have a family. It's much harder. That's the first piece of advice I'll give anybody who wants to get into this. Don't have a family for a while. until you're successful, because it'll just make it very hard to ever get out of things, and you'll always have to compromise. But I didn't have to compromise because I didn't have a family.
And what was it NBC wanted you to do?
They just didn't like the direction of the show. For example, the Chinese restaurant episode.
Right, the whole thing.
They hated that show. They didn't even want to air it. And there was a big meeting about the kind of shows they liked and the kind of shows they didn't like. And I just said, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I just thought that I would quit. But then I learned another lesson, that when you say no, you invariably get your way. And it's a wonderful feeling. I can't believe I never did it before.
No, she's not going to do it.
Yeah, you just say no. And then they go, okay, well, you don't have to.
I love Larry's ballsiness when it comes to that, sticking to his guns, like you said. And we got a great episode as a result. But I feel like that would not fly in today's TV atmosphere, because there's so many other shows being produced and so many people on deck that the moment there was a little bit of opposition from a writer or an EP of a show, that the network would just be like, the hell with you, we'll bring somebody else on. But back in this climate in the early 90s, like, I guess Jerry had clout, and the show hadn't really had the traction, right?
Yeah, at the time, I think Larry was just in a very unique position to behave the way he did and say the things he said. A friend of mine always summed up, those really successful stories in entertainment as, the really unique ones, as a door opens for them, and as soon as they go through that door, it closes, and no one can ever open it again. And that's, I feel like, sort of what happened with Seinfeld, with Larry and Jerry, and just everything that fell into place for the show to get made. And again, for people like Larry to say the things he did and behave the way he did. Not saying he was difficult to work with, but
you could say that. That's quite profound what your friend said. It actually reminds me of what Larry said at the SNL reunion show. Larry and Jerry had the last 2 tickets to Disneyland before it burned down.
Yes.
So, door shutting.
For sure. So our next and last clip actually is Larry talking about George Steinbrenner, creating the character and actually filming a scene with the actual George Steinbrenner, which, we won't get to for a couple of seasons, but it is a deleted scene that you could probably find on YouTube. Maybe we can include that in our show notes as well.
So it's not quite your speaking voice. You did some stuff there with that.
Wow, hey. Dave, I was doing an impression.
You're an actor.
Oh, sure. No, we brought in some people to read for Mr. Steinbrenner, and nobody really got it. And Jerry said, "Well, what are you looking for? How does it go?" And all of a sudden, I started talking like this. He's a big blustery guy. He kind of talks like that. And Jerry said, "Yeah, you should do it. That's funny." So that's how that happened.
Uh-huh. Did you ever hear how Steinbrenner himself reacted to the bit?
I think he liked it. Steinbrenner was unfamiliar with the show. His grandchildren watched it, and his grandchildren talked him into letting us use his name. The last episode, I think, of the 96 season, we came up with the idea to actually fly him in and put him on the show. Because up to that point, we'd only been seeing the back of his head, and I was doing his voice. And then we thought it would be fun if he actually made a real appearance. So we called him up, and he said, yeah, he would do it. So we flew out to do it. He did the show. We started editing the show, and as I watched it, I'm going, oh my God, this is not good. And we thought it's so much better to just see the back of his head with me doing the voice than to actually see the real Steinbrenner, because his acting was wanting, to say the least. So I had to call him up and tell him the news that he was being cut from the show. So I called Yankee Stadium and I asked to talk to him. And then he got on the phone. I said, Mr. Steinbrenner, this is Larry David calling from the Seinfeld show. And he said, yes, Larry, what's going on? I said, well, Mr. Steinbrenner, I watched the show, And he said, "Yeah, you can tell me. I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy." I said, "Well, it's not working. We have to cut you from the show." And he was actually okay with it.
So, Vinny, would you want George Steinbrenner to actually make an appearance on Seinfeld? I know they filmed it, but would you have liked to see that show up in an actual canonical episode?
Canonical. The idea of it, I like. I think it's kind of cute to bring it full circle and see this real life character who they've been playing in a fictional way come to life. But when you see the deleted scene and how it's completely different than the Steinbrenner we've come to know on Seinfeld. So having seen that and having said that, I would say no. I'm glad they didn't use that.
Yeah, it seems like a very using like, air quotes, like sitcom thing to do.
Exactly. It's un-Seinfeldian.
Mm-hmm.
It's Seinfeld shouldn't have done that, and they were right not to.
Right.
But the more traditional sitcoms would have done a move like that.
Right. Anyways, there you go. Again, that was on Fresh Air. Larry David was interviewed by Dave Davies, and that was on March 7th, 2015. Again, check out the Fresh Air podcast, and you can just download it and listen to the whole interview there. It's really good. So anyways, Vinny, what episode are we discussing today?
Hey, we're almost done with season 3. We're on the 20th episode. The Letter, written by Larry David, directed by Tom Sharonis, and it aired March 25th, 1992.
And if this is your first time listening, Vinny and I are following the DVD episode order, so go ahead and buy those DVDs already. We posted, there was like a sale recently. It was like $45 or something.
You can't beat that.
For the whole set. I know, my God, come on. I think actually some of our listeners made the plunge and bought it, which is great. We don't get a commission on that.
Bravo, everyone. Well done.
We're just pushing it because we think people should own it.
Everybody should own it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great set. Do you think it'll ever hit Blu-ray? I feel like streaming's the future at this point.
If it went to Blu-ray, I wouldn't even buy it. I would buy the streaming versions. Mm-hmm. Like if they came on iTunes, I'd buy them in a heartbeat.
Right. So a little bit of setup for this week. Again, this is like an all Larry David episode. Well, maybe more than usual.
It's exciting.
Yeah. I guess maybe we could lead with this little bit of trivia. This was the second most watched Seinfeld episode during the third season, behind the premiere, The Note. So they took a little bit of time off, I think a few weeks, and they showed some reruns, and those ratings were just as good as season 3 episodes. So the popularity is growing more and more, and it almost reaches that point that the premiere did. So obviously the popularity is on the climb, but probably the big behind the scenes trivia is tied into the Elaine storyline this episode, right?
Correct. Larry David, wanting to use some of his connections now being on this TV show growing in popularity, he asked one of the executive producers, Howard West, can you get me some Angels tickets? He wanted to go see the Yankees play the Angels. So he got the tickets from Howard West. Howard West was able to get the tickets from his accountant, who was friends with the Angels owner at the time, Gene Autry. And Larry took his friend to the game. And they sat in the owner's box. Larry's friend wore a Yankees cap in the box. And then one of the representatives from Gene Autry, the owner of the Angels, came down and told the party, hey, you need to take off your Yankees cap. And Larry thought that was one of the most ridiculous things he had ever heard. So sure enough, he wrote it into an episode.
Would you have taken off the cap?
No, absolutely not. I totally side with Elaine in this argument, and Larry for that matter.
But the fact that you're a guest, I was going to save it for later. We can talk about it now. No. Don't you think though, as a guest though, it's like, all right, like I don't want to piss anyone off. I don't know.
It is a baseball game, but that's the whole point. Why you're at a game, you're rooting for a team.
Yeah, I guess I'm just weak.
Well, I'm a Nancy boy.
Yes. Should we get started?
Yeah.
Do you think that the security guards in the art museums really ever stop anybody from taking the paintings? I mean, are they going up to me? Hey, what do you think you're going with that? Hey, come over here, give me that Saison. I mean, look at the job that this man is hired to do. He's getting $5 an hour to protect millions of dollars of priceless art with what? He's got a light mocha brown uniform and a USA Today. This is what he's got. I mean, crooks must look at this guy and go, all right, all we got to do is get past the folding chair and the thermos of coffee. We can get a Rembrandt.
Nice stand-up. It ties in to the painting. I like it.
Yeah. I feel like he does it every week. He takes this little nugget, something as simple as a security guard at a museum, and you know, the security guard at a museum, you don't think of it as some menacing individual. But he takes that notion and he turns it into gold.
Yeah.
And it's very reminiscent of the airport security team at the airport, which you hear on I'm Telling You for the Last Time.
For some reason, I got a blip of the security guard at Ross's. I don't know why. I guess that doesn't really
who's on
tie
his
into
feet
this.
all day?
Yeah, I don't know why.
All right.
So, first scene of the episode is at Nina's loft. It looks like it's in Soho. Kramer is getting a portrait done. Looking pretty good in his duds. He's joking around with, this painter, Nina, about taking his clothes off. And this is when we find out that she's actually Jerry's girlfriend.
So, right when they fade up onto this scene, you can hear Jerry laughing. Did you hear him chuckle?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a quick but it's Jerry. And then the jacket that Kramer's wearing, is that the jacket that women find irresistible, or is that a different jacket?
Oh, damn it. You got to give me some heads up here. I would have gotten some screen grabs going.
It looks very similar. But
Okay.
I thought it got stolen in the cafe. The guy took it back. Where's your jacket?
No, then he gets it back in the nose job, right?
Yeah. But I have a feeling this is the jacket. So let's
go to the videotape.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll do that. I think this is interesting because this is the first time we open an episode with Kramer, I believe. Usually it's Jerry, Elaine, or George, but
yeah.
We tracked his, I think, character development early on more than season 3, debating like when did Kramer get fully formed. But he's obviously fully formed enough to, you can start an episode with him. He's one of the 4 now, if it isn't already obvious.
Oh, he's all in.
That line when he's, talking to Nina about taking their clothes off, and he's like, oh, it'll be our little secret. Very Hennigan's.
Yeah,
the delivery
that's true.
And also the line itself.
Yeah. I also like how we see another character trait of Kramer in that he's comfortable with his body. You sure you don't want me to take my clothes off?
All right.
And he's very willing.
Maybe too willing.
Same as when he walks in on Elaine naked in The Truth, and then he is volunteering to take his clothes off. He whips his belt out, and Elaine's like, no. Also, he becomes an underwear model for Calvin Klein.
All right.
And then in the reverse peephole, him and Newman say, our motto is, we're comfortable with our bodies. So I thought that was a nice little trait of Kramer.
Oh, for sure. He's a free spirit.
He really is. He's quite flirtatious with a girlfriend of Jerry's, don't you think?
I thought so too, but maybe she knows who Kramer is. Like she gets him, I guess. But
it's walking a fine line of crossing that line, I think.
Sure. We're also jumping the gun here, but he might know that things are kind of not going so well between Jerry and Nina. So maybe there's that window is opening for him to flirt a little bit.
Oh, you're crazy. He doesn't know that yet. Speaking of Jerry's girlfriend, Nina West, she's played by the lovely Catherine Keener. I got a big crush on her.
I'll second that.
She's all right. But you've known her. She's been in a lot of things. She's been in 8mm. She was nominated for a Academy Award for being John Malkovich. Is that correct?
I think so.
Okay,
You tell me.
I hope that's right.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
She was in Death to Smoochie. I think the younger fans will know she was in 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell. She was in Capote, Into the Wild. She was in Enough Said along Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Captain Phillips. And she also played Johnny Knoxville's love interest in Bad Grandpa.
Oh, that's interesting.
Most of her part was cut from the movie, but in the Bad Grandpa 2.0 or whatever, which is on Netflix, you can see a lot of behind the scenes with her and getting her makeup done. She was a good sport about the whole thing. Also,
So she
interesting-
plays a grandma character?
Well, the main character is this grandfather.
Yeah.
And she plays his wife, who dies very early on in the film. But there's some nice bits with her and Johnny Knoxville.
Okay.
Which are pretty fun to watch. Also interesting to note, other actresses who auditioned for the role of Nina. Holly Fulger. The only thing I have on her, she was in the movie Anything But Love, starring Richard Lewis and Jamie Lee Curtis. So Richie boy. Amy Yazbek, who's most notable for The Mask, as well as Problem Child. And she was married to John Ritter.
She also,
yeah, she also played Jason Alexander's wife in Pretty Woman.
Oh,
Amy Yazbek. So she could have come back to work again with Jason. And finally, Heidi Swedberg also auditioned for the role of Nina. Who's Heidi Swedberg, man?
I don't know. Who is she?
Oh, you know who she is.
Yeah, that's Susan from season 4 and 7.
Of George and Susan?
Of George and Susan, Susan Ross.
The same.
So glad that she didn't get the role.
Yeah.
Jason Alexander has some very interesting things to say about Heidi acting with her. You know, what it was like working with her, especially during season 7.
Oh, boy.
Maybe we'll hold off talking about that, unless we already have on this show.
I think it's been mentioned, but we'll
okay.
see.
Yeah. They did not connect like actors normally would.
But that translated on screen.
It did. So next scene is at Jerry's apartment. Jerry's in the kitchen. When George comes storming out of the bathroom, he's enraged with his button fly and how it, takes 10 minutes to get it open. I assume this means that George didn't go to the bathroom then?
I guess. That's unlike him. I thought he would have finished his business in there and then come back out.
Right. Well,
it's always a bathroom issue, whether it's toilet paper or taking his shirt off.
Open door pee policy.
There you go. Or this extending the stall doors all the way down to the floor. It's always... Why does it always come back to bathroom?
Jerry likes the button fly because it's, the one place on his wardrobe where he doesn't need sharp interlocking metal teeth, which is a great Jerry bit, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then he interlocks his fingers together.
I did that.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
You can't not do that gesture.
I gotta say though, I agree with Jerry on this one, but for a completely different reason.
Go.
I have a pair of button fly jeans from the Gap, and they open very easily. Like if you just pull kind of outward, they come right open. So I don't know what George is talking about.
I wanted to know what your opinion on button flies were, because I've had some terrible button flies in my life, and it's all about the manufacturer. It's all who makes it, because I have a pair of Lucky Brand jeans.
Ooh.
Actually, I think we bought them together.
We were there, yes.
These button flies, they open perfectly.
With
you can close
ease.
It's wonderful. Yeah, the zipper's behind me. It's all button flies from now on.
Plus, say you're getting intimate with a woman, you don't want her fumbling.
Or man.
Or man. You don't want her fumbling around and struggling down there.
Summer nights.
Oh, God.
Anyways, Jerry invites George to head over to Nina's to check out some of her paintings, but, George doesn't get art and says it always has to be explained to him, and then he has to have someone explain the explanation, which seems like something totally lifted from, LD's mind.
I say this all the time, but that's genius. That seems like such a real-life thought, and to put that on screen... You know what I mean? Because I don't understand it either, and I'm always like, what does that mean?
Yeah, my wife is an artist. She paints primarily, and I love her work. But anytime we go to a museum, I usually walk away only liking or being moved by like one or two paintings. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just very subjective. I think anyone that tells you you're supposed to feel a certain way,
yeah,
shove it. So as they leave, Jerry says that Nina is painting Kramer because she sees something in him.
So do I, but I wouldn't want to hang it on a wall.
Audience loves that bit. So we go to Nina's loft, and she's still painting Kramer while he's explaining how his eyes are not only brown, but they're dark brown, like rich Colombian coffee.
It's neat to see how the painting is kind of in mid-paint, Mm-hmm. It's not completely finished.
Mid-paint.
Yeah. It's a word.
And this is, as much as I love Catherine Keener, not a huge fan of the Nina character.
Oh, yeah.
Because she wants to know about Jerry and Elaine, what's the deal with the two. Kramer explains that they were once a big thing, like Abe Lincoln and Mary Todd.
At this point, I kind of agree with her in that it's somewhat odd to remain such close friends with an ex. So right now we don't know that Nina is the jealous artist as she's listed in the script, but I do agree with her at this point. I'm just starting to become mature enough to understand that people do this.
They're friends with their exes?
Yeah. Just starting. But man, the swagger that Kramer exudes right here when Nina asks him, well, are you still friends with any of your ex-girlfriends? Well, I have many relationships. He's in unique form right now.
Yeah, he really is. So outside the loft, George is telling Jerry that he's nervous since it's the friend meeting the new woman, and he feels like he's getting fixed up for a friendship.
That's brilliant.
It is brilliant, but this seems a little uncharacteristic of George. Like,
how so?
Well, George doesn't really come off as someone who's like, oh, I have to meet a new person. He's usually annoyed, or he's like, oh, hey, how are you? Like, he's usually pretty laid back.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess it just varies episode by episode, like whether he's neurotic enough in this department.
Oh, actually, he does this both with the beginning and end of a relationship. When Jerry is dating Elaine, he talks about breakup by association.
Good point.
And now this is the beginning, getting fixed up for a friendship.
Jerry tells him he's not sure how long this is going to last, though, because Nina has a jealousy thing, as we brought up, and she doesn't like Jerry having fun with anyone but her, which can be an issue. It's not the jealousy thing. I understand that. I relate to the whole you're friends with your ex, but I don't get this whole thing like, you can't have fun without me.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be there.
It doesn't bode well for the relationship if you have to be there 24/7.
No, George has this line here, it's a miracle you're not married. What's up with that? Just saying like Jerry is so in his own world he wouldn't ever survive a marriage? Or
I think that's what he's getting at, that he wouldn't take into consideration committing to one person. You know what I mean? And spending the majority of his time with her, even though we're saying that it's ridiculous to ask that of someone to get to, you know what I mean? But I wanted to comment on, this is one of those few instances where George makes the Jerry eye roll at Jerry. Did you notice that?
I didn't, no.
After he delivers that line, it's a miracle you're not married. George gives the Jerry eye roll.
Interesting. So George wants to know if he's obligated to buy anything, and this is right when Nina opens the door, which is a nice surprise. They all say their hellos, and Jerry just casually mentions that George wanted to look at her paintings, and Nina asks if he's interested, which starts this whole guilt complex, and George feels compelled to lie and say he's an art adorer.
Well, Nina says, "Oh, are you interested?" And George says, "Yeah, of course I'm interested." And then Kramer ups the stakes by saying, "George, you gonna buy a painting?" And George kind of threw his teeth, says, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Sure."
There's one point here when Jerry jokes around and pretends to X out that painting.
Yeah.
Which I like. And I like this flirtatious side of Jerry.
It's very playful.
Very playful. I feel like you don't get it that much if it's not that this was like an improvised moment, but it's not really like heavy on the dialogue. It's just something, cute between
Thank you.
between two people.
This also won't be the last time that George right now he's getting guilted into buying art. But he'll also go on to purchase art from Elaine's boyfriend, Roy, the triangle guy, which is also referenced in Curb, but we won't get into that now. Stay tuned for 2018. I'm also reminded of the 3D art poster of the spaceship that George takes off his shirt when he goes to the office.
Okay.
Which ends up being the last straw in one of his relationships.
Good point.
Those are the only two other art references I could think of.
So, on to the big story for this episode. Nina has tickets to a Yankees-Orioles game. Hey, Orioles.
That's me.
She has tickets to the Yankees-Orioles game in the owner's box, front row behind the dugout. This is because her father is the Yankees accountant. Now, Jerry can't go because he's out of town, so Nina offers them to Kramer.
Yeah.
Good. Nice. I didn't even have to set you up for that one. And George, who is, ecstatic. All his life, he's dreamed about sitting front row behind the dugout.
Unfortunately, when George shows his enthusiasm for these tickets they're about to get, he is holding one of Nina's paintings in his hands, and she says, "Oh, you want that one?"
Yeah, the squiggles, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting to kind of a little bit, not foreshadowing, but a neat little prelude to George's future career working with the Yankees. We got our first establishing shot of Yankee Stadium.
That's true.
Circa 1992, probably.
And I got to say, I'm a little bit peeved with this opening shot as they're walking down to their seats, because you can see at the top of the shot, all the seats are empty, and they didn't fill it in with enough extras.
Maybe it could be early enough in the game, but
because now the first pitch is about to start, and they're sitting first row by the owner's box.
That would be filled up.
Filled.
Yeah. So
anyway.
it's George and Elaine. They're being escorted to their seats.
Look at where we are. He's not stopping. He just keeps going and going and going. We're not in the first row?
No, these are your seats.
She said first row right behind the dugout.
Well, it's the second row. It's just as good.
I was all primed for the first row. I was going to put my feet on the dugout.
You shut up. These are great. You can't get any better than this.
Oh, there's better right there. That's better.
Right. All right, who wants a dog?
Yeah.
What a great day.
I could have been at my boss's son's bris right now.
Is that what you were supposed to do today?
Yeah. What makes him think anyone wants to witness a circumcision?
I'd rather go to a hanging.
Is it that unattractive to have to take it off?
Have you ever seen one with it?
No.
You wouldn't even know what it was.
Anyway, I called him back. I told him I had to go visit my father in the hospital in Maryland.
You better catch it here, Charlie, because this ain't Philadelphia!
This scene here, I just love. George, Elaine, and Kramer, for that matter. Just the three of them together. I feel like you don't really get a lot of scenes without Jerry.
Yeah. It's nice. Nice dynamic between the three of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, probably the biggest takeaway from this scene is, of course, the Elaine excuse for why she's out of the office, which is she's visiting her father in Maryland, but she would have gone to Mr. Lippman's son's bris.
Which is also funny because although Elaine got out of this bris, she's going to have to go to another bris in a little while.
Right. Now,
Stan and Myra's.
For a while, I used to think that Mr. Lippman's son at the bris was the same son in a future episode. I forget the name of it, but it's when he has his bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
He gets him boggled, but
yeah.
I don't think there's enough time there unless he's like...
Oh, yeah, you're right. It could be another son.
Yeah, must be.
And that's interesting catch, though. Elaine makes this line, is it that unattractive that they have to take it off? And George says, have you ever seen one with it? She goes, no. And George says, you wouldn't even know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm assuming he's referring to his roommate in college.
Oh.
Because I don't know why it's worth bringing this up, but, in the Bris episode, Jerry asked George, hey, George, you ever seen one? And George goes, yeah, my roommate in college. I got used to it.
And even Elaine at that point says that she saw one, right?
She did, yeah.
Right.
So between now and then, she dated a guy.
So a man approaches the group and introduces himself as Leonard West, Nina's father.
That name taken from Howard West, the executive producer of Seinfeld.
Yes.
Go on.
So he joins the group and he's chit-chatting a bit about George buying one of Nina's paintings earlier. And he seems like a pretty nice guy, just checking in with the group.
Pretty stand-up.
Right. Now, as he's about to leave, he notices that Elaine is wearing an Orioles cap and thinks she better take it off since she's in the owner's box.
This actor, though, the character Leonard West is played by actor Richard Venture, and he was in General Hospital. He was in a couple episodes of Law and Order, and he was also in Scent of a Woman. Al Pacino. Hoo-ah!
Very good.
I love when Leonard West asks them, "Oh, how do you like the seats?" And Elaine's like, "Great." And George says, "Okay." George can't even put on a fake like, "They're great, thanks so much." He
needs that front row.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh gosh. Well, an argument ensues, of course, because of this cap, and George tries to keep the peace and tells Elaine to take it off, but she's not having it. Actually throws his hat away. She grabs it and hurls it.
The hair goes flying up.
Of course. So again, the security guard arrives and escorts her out, and begrudgingly George leaves with her while Kramer picks up the hat and gets hit right in the head with a foul ball.
That visual of Kramer getting smacked in the head, and then I don't know how he contorts his body, but one leg gets draped over the dugout, the other one gets underneath. It's imprinted on my brain, and that's just a testament to Michael's physical comedy prowess.
It's a great visual. I wonder what they used to hit him in the head. If it was a tennis ball, even that would hurt. But knowing Michael, I'm sure he'd be willing to hurt himself.
He'd want them to use a real ball to simulate authenticity.
Oh, God. I think at this point we should also mention just how they filmed this scene. I always wondered when the budget got a little bigger how they film these outdoor scenes. Like, are they really in like a stadium, like a minor league stadium? How do they do these? But all it was were some bleachers assembled on the parking lot outside the studios. So yeah, just so they could get that natural lighting and whatnot. And this is another example of the show filming a scene without an audience and then recreating the scene on the Seinfeld apartment set to, record the audience laughter and then play it on top. So next scene is at Jerry's apartment. A lot of bouncing around this episode. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
You're getting a lot more of those little tiny scenes as opposed to these. I mean, in the beginning, it was maybe 8 or 9 scenes an episode.
Yeah.
Now we're up to like probably 15 or 16.
And so much bouncing around is going on, and the storyline is becoming denser that you'll notice there's no middle stand-up in this episode. It was cut. Well, it wasn't cut out, but they didn't have enough time to do a middle stand-up.
Mm-hmm. So Elaine is telling Jerry what happened at the game and that they had to take Kramer to the emergency room, but he's okay. And this is when you have Kramer slide in with that head wrapped in gauze, the hair sticking straight up. He says, "Hi, Carol," and is excited to point out that they made the paper, this incident at the baseball game. And there's a picture on page 2 of the sports section. Now, Elaine, of course, is not happy because she told Lippman that she was visiting her father that day.
One little white lie.
So the next scene is at Pennant Publishing. And
those bastards.
We're going to do that every time, I promise.
Please. Speaking of which, this is Richard Fancy's second appearance as Lippman.
Yes.
Out of 10.
God,
so we last saw him in The Red Dot. We'll see him next in The Sniffing Accountant.
So Elaine enters his office, and she's a bit nervous because she spots the sports section right on his desk.
Well, I got a plane to catch.
Oh, where are you going?
Going to Houston for a few days publishers' convention. Can I have my sports section? Sports section.
Yeah.
I'm saving it for the plane. I never miss a Sunday sports section.
Well, there's nothing to read. It's yesterday's news.
Well,
the Yankees won, the Mets lost, Ricky Henderson's unhappy.
Right. What are you doing?
Oh, God. That is the 3rd time today I have done that. I keep, grabbing newspapers and just tugging at them.
Well, you gotta go.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Well, have a nice trip and, alrighty. I'll just hold down the, fort.
So this scene here, might not be the most memorable scene, but I remember it primarily because Lippman scares the shit out of me. Not because he's like this aggressive, mean boss, but the situation Elaine is in, and this even goes further later in the episode. That scene scares me too.
They drag it out.
I just feel so nervous in this scene, and even though Lippman is not being a bad guy, or being cruel to Elaine here, he just really scares me. Every little, can I have my sports section back, please? And you're like,
I think it shows how good not only Jason is, but how good Julia is at playing nervous and just she's freaked out that she could potentially lose her job over this.
Next scene is at Nina's loft, and we open to this like a well-to-do couple, elderly, as it were.
The Armstrongs.
The Armstrongs, right. They're staring at this portrait of Kramer, just enraptured with well, I don't know, maybe we could go down
I'd like to
the
hear
list.
each one. Yes, please.
All right, so I have some selects written out here. We have a man-child crying out for love. We have an innocent orphan in the postmodern world. We have a parasite.
I like that one.
And then later on, we have a sexually depraved miscreant who is seeking to gratify only his most basest and immediate urges. And we also have a loathsome, offensive brute.
Those are pretty spot on, I would say.
Yeah, like I was going to ask you, of those 5, which one do you agree with the most?
I would say a sexually depraved miscreant is hands down Kramer in a nutshell. Especially to gratify his most basest and immediate urges.
For me, I think that one's second. I think the loathsome, offensive brute is, I don't know why, I like the wording of that, even though it doesn't fit Kramer exactly. That portrait of him seems to be summed up with that offensive brute line.
There was actually additional dialogue that regarding more of these descriptions of Kramer. Mrs. Armstrong would say, extraordinary. The face is ruddy and unattractive, yet I detect a nobility of attitude beneath the outward appearance of degradation. And Mr. Armstrong responded with, but note the eyes. He's a creature barely hanging on to existence, a cockroach clinging to a sewer drain as the putrid effluent rushes over his spindly limbs, trying to wash him away.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I didn't do it.
Well, Larry's writing.
Larry's beautiful.
I think it worked with the original, or I'm sorry, the final versions. I think are better. I think it gets just a little too much.
I agreed, but I enjoy this flowery language being peppered, in. It's nice to hear, to see where Larry goes with it.
Oh, for sure. And if anything, the shortest one, the most simple one, a parasite, is the one that gets the biggest laugh.
Yeah, that's probably also pretty apt of Kramer, because that's what he is to Jerry. I'll take this moment to talk about the two actors. Mr. Armstrong is played by Elliot Reed. He actually passed away in 2013. Seinfeld was his second to last acting role.
Wow.
Yeah, but he was in an episode of I Love Lucy. He was in 2 eps of The Lucy Show. And he was in 2 episodes of Here's Lucy.
Are you kidding me?
I swear.
Wow.
I could not wait to do those voices. And I apologize to everybody out there. He was in a Munsters episode, 1 episode of The Jackie Gleason Show, episode of The Odd Couple. He was on 2 episodes of the new Dick Van Dyke Show. He was in that movie Young Einstein. I don't know if you remember that.
I do, but I never saw it, actually.
I always loved that growing up. It was some Australian guy, and smart and played guitar, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Belvedere episode, he was in the movies he's known for. He was in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Inherit the Wind, and The Absent-Minded Professor.
Wow. So he definitely is an actor from a classic era.
And then his wife, Mrs. Armstrong, is played by Justine Johnston. She passed away in 2006, but she's most notable for 9.5 Weeks, Fatal Attraction,
Remember
Arthur.
The pastrami scene?
Oh, yeah. Good
Sorry.
one. Good catch. Thank you. No. That's and episode of the Drew Carey Show. That's all I got for her.
So on the other side of the wall, as the Armstrongs are having their conversation.
And did you notice that pan?
Oh, yeah. It's a bit bizarre, right?
It's just a little bit jarring to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they didn't just do a cut between rooms in her apartment.
Cut it. I said cut it.
Will you stop signing?
So on the other side of the wall, Nina and Jerry are having a bit of a tiff about what happened at the game. Nina thinks that Elaine should have taken off the baseball cap, while Jerry thinks it's preposterous. So I guess you are on Jerry's side. I'm a bit on Nina's side. And this sort of just leads to this moment that's, it's been brewing for a while. Jerry thinks they should just end the relationship before they start hating each other, which is a very mature thing. I really respect Jerry.
It really is.
In this moment. People really don't, I think, say that. Like, hey, I don't want to hate you. Let's just, maybe we should call this quits.
Contrast that with George, who will get married if he has to prove a point.
Right.
I'll go the distance.
Nina criticizes Jerry, of course, saying, of course, you have to be, friends with your exes. And she storms off, but not before handing that painting that George was holding the other day and telling him that George owes her $500 for it. Which is confusing, as we see in this next scene. Why did Jerry take the painting? Why not just leave it there?
Well, I think it's kind of similar to, George leaving books at Marlene's house. You in the heat of the moment when you're breaking up, you don't remember that stuff. You're just so happy to rip the Band-Aid off and get out of there.
Right. So at Jerry's apartment, George is flipping out about having to pay Nina $500, especially for a piece of junk painting. He thinks it's just a bunch of squiggly lines and even asks Jerry if he couldn't paint this.
Do you want me to paint you something? I'd love to paint you something. It's funny because George is willing to pay $1,900 for the triangles later on.
Yeah, now you brought that up. Roy, right? Roy, his triangle art. I feel like the only reason George buys that, though, is for the value. This is going to appreciate.
Exactly.
Whereas with Nina, it's I don't even like it to begin with.
Right.
So Kramer enters, and he's still bandaged up.
Hi, Mike.
And he hands Jerry a note that he found outside the door, which turns out to be from Nina.
Oh, my God.
What?
This is amazing. You can't believe this.
What's it say?
Listen to this. I don't know what you expect to find out there, Jerry. You know what you want better than me. But there's one thing I do know. I know I can stand here watching you try to destroy everything I've ever wanted in my life, wanting to smash your face with my fists because you won't even make the slightest effort to opt for happiness and still know that I love you. You mean so much to me that I'm willing to take all your abuse and insults and insensitivity.
Wow, she's deep.
Because that's what you need to do to prove I'm not going to leave you. I'm sick and tired of running from places and people and relationships. You want me, then fight for me. Because I'm sure as hell fighting for you. I think we're both
You know, Jerry, you sound like a poet.
Boy, no one's ever written me a letter like this. Maybe I was wrong about it.
Get up. Go. Get in there and give her a call. Pick up the phone and call her.
Should I?
Yes, you're damn right you should. Fight for her, Jerry. She's sure the hell fighting for you.
All right.
I love that bit of Kramer blowing his nose and then wiping it, trying to fix the painting.
That whole thing with Kramer is that had to have been improvised just in the moment. You can tell when something's scripted and something's like, oh, Michael Richards is doing his thing,
and George is just perplexed. What the hell are you doing?
All right, let's take a short break.
Welcome to the life of George Schneider, struggling author, recent widower. He's determined to live his life datelessly and matelessly.
You don't pick up your phone for 4 days, you don't return any of your messages? What, do you had yellow fever or something?
I'm very busy, Leo. I've written 300 pages of my new book and I haven't thought of a story yet.
His brother, Leo,
Hey, listen.
has something else in mind.
Trust me. I book a table in one of the best French restaurants in New York, and I walk in with this creature from Star Wars. I tell you, you don't go anyplace fancy. You take her to New Jersey.
Welcome to the life of Jenny McLean, Broadway actress, recently divorced. She's finally got the chance to do exactly what she wants. Her friend, Faye, has other ideas.
I just called Regine.
You mean dancing? That should be fun. Oh, Jenny, was the other night really terrible? Well, you are going to get a call next week from George Schneider, Leo's brother.
Well, Miss, is it Jenkins or Durgans?
It's McLean, Jennifer McLean.
No, that's wrong.
I could show you my driver's license.
It took Neil Simon to get them together.
Hello?
What if we were to meet for, say, 5 minutes?
Listen, you don't think this is a weird thing to do? Who is it?
5-minute man.
Hello?
Hello. I like your perfume.
Oh, well, I may have overdone it. I didn't know how much to put on for 5 minutes.
And only Neil Simon could keep them together.
I am wonderful. I'm nuts about me. And if you are stupid enough to throw someone sensational like me aside, you don't deserve as good as you've got.
If you want me, you gotta fight for me. I'm fighting like hell for you. I think we're both worth it.
James Caan, Marcia Mason, Joseph Bologna, and Valerie Harper. Neil Simon's Chapter 2. It's not supposed to happen twice in your life.
Okay, we're back.
So we're back from commercial, and we're at Jerry's apartment. He's putting on Nina's jacket. Apparently, they didn't call it quits.
That means they're back together,
I guess.
You know what that's got me thinking of?
What?
This is Jerry's theory on breakups coming to life. We don't hear about this till much later in the series. But breaking up is like knocking over a Coke machine. You can't just do it in one push. You got to rock it back and forth a few times, then it goes over.
True. But to be fair, it is that letter that made him go back to her. So Jerry buzzes up George, and before he arrives, Jerry and Nina talk about the appeal of a posse, presumably based on some Western on TV.
Has tremendous appeal.
Yes. What does he say? You get away from the job, you camp out, you're with your friends.
It's a week-long game of hide and seek on horseback. He's doing shtick there.
Yeah, I think so. I can't tell, though, if that's a Larry David joke or one of Jerry's.
Yeah, I really do feel like it could go either way on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's funny because as we talk about, like, at the beginning of Seincast and like the beginning of Seinfeld, how it was all about Larry's humor with Jerry's delivery.
Yeah.
And this is one of those moments here where I feel like it's Larry material, but Jerry delivers it in his own cadence that it's hard to think it's anyone else's but his. So George enters and gets a little nervous because he still owes Nina $500, and he tries to talk himself out of it by giving back the painting and, hey, saying it could be worth thousands in the future. Should be in a museum.
I feel like I'm stealing from you.
She's not budging, of course, and she wants him to buy it.
Well, it's not about the money, George. It's just a really nice piece.
Who said anything about money? So Elaine buzzes, and Jerry lets her up, which doesn't make Nina too happy here. Wonders why Elaine doesn't believe in telephones.
She's a big fan of the pop-in.
Mm-hmm. So is George. He's a big pop-in guy.
Just popped in himself.
Mm-hmm. How about Kramer?
Loves the pop-in.
Huge pop-in guy.
That's it.
So as Elaine arrives, Nina just walks out, doesn't say anything, just glares at her.
Elaine says hello, and Nina walks right past her, and then as she's already past the threshold, will say hello.
Oh, she does say hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's with her back to Elaine.
Chatty gal. So I think Nina just made my list. Do not deliver a list.
Oh.
But just girlfriends, like the top 5 just worst girlfriends. She's in there.
Should we have a Seinecast blacklist?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Ooh. You got me blacklisted on Seinecast?
She's just not a very nice person. And especially going after Elaine. That's I think our guard...
Don't you dare. We got 2 mama cubs here who don't you dare go after Elaine.
Mama cubs?
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, yeah, she's just an ugly person, inside. So yeah, she's not one you want to keep around.
Right.
I'd rather Jerry be dating Amber from Vegas. Yeah, Amber. I wonder if she's back from Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That was a pull. So we transition a little bit, still in Jerry's apartment. Later in the evening, the 3 are watching TV. Julia has that pillow blocking her pregnant stomach.
Prego.
Mm-hmm. So there's a bit of struggle with the remote between Jerry and Elaine until, George just takes the remote from both of them.
It's not the remote. It's the clicker.
No.
That's what they call it. And I'd like to point out, so here's another precursor to one of Jerry's bits, that notion of men being hunters when they click versus women who nest when they click.
Boo! That was a pretty good setup.
Thank you.
All right. So George starts flipping around, or clicking around, whatever you want to call it, Vinny.
Thank you.
And Jerry notices something.
Speculate on why we've been...
Wait a second. Go back to that.
Hey, you read all those books, not me.
It's chapter 2. It's Neil Simon.
But one thing I do know, I know how I feel. I can stand here and
Wait a second.
Oh
my God, the letter, that's the letter.
What letter?
This is the letter she wrote to me. She stole it right from the movie.
Because you don't even make
the slightest effort to offer happiness and still know that I love you.
This is incredible.
I always thought there was something funny about this letter. She's copied it right out of chapter 2. She's a thief, a bunco artist.
Maybe I won't send her that check.
Yeah, it's not really that terrible.
What are you talking about? She completely misrepresented herself. I don't opt for happiness. I opt for happiness. James Caan doesn't opt for happiness.
Have you ever seen chapter 2?
Have not.
That would be something that we need to... we might need to get on, because I've pretty much exhausted most Seinfeld references. You've tried all the foods, you've gone to all the locations, but this is something I've yet to see.
Well, we're opening up our narrow-minded lives to Broadway, so maybe we can watch chapter 2.
Maybe.
And while we're at it, we should probably watch Plaza Suite, because in one draft, the scene ended with Elaine asking Jerry, what are you going to say to Nina? And he replies with, I don't know, maybe I'll steal something from Plaza Suite, which is another Neil Simon play. Do you think Nina was in the wrong for what she did? Lifting pure Neil Simon dialogue and passing it off as her own?
In short, yes. But I'm all over the place with this character because, I of course love the actress, but I see where she's coming from on the whole baseball cap thing. Mm-hmm. And I understand where she's coming from on the whole, you're friends with your ex-girlfriend, but then I don't like how she treats Elaine, and I don't like the whole Jerry can't have fun without her. So I'm very wishy-washy with her. When it comes to this Neil Simon thing, that's like the straw that breaks the camel's back for me. Because it's so weird to plagiarize something so directly, not lift a line or two, but to literally just like copy paste, the monologue.
I feel like if she had credited Neil Simon in the note, I don't know how this would have convinced Jerry.
Done like a little footnote.
But if she had said, this is from the play, chapter 2, I think that would have been less offensive.
If it were Seinfeld today, she would have had like a Tumblr page or a Facebook update, and she would have just, pasted the YouTube link from the movie.
I lifted some of Jerry's material for your best man speech.
Oh, that's true.
But I credited him after I said it.
That was a terrible toast.
The cursed toast?
So next scene is at Pendant Publishing. Lippman is on the phone in his office as Elaine drops something off, and he's talking about someone who wouldn't take off their hat at a baseball game. He's hearing this story from the other line, and Elaine gets really nervous. She tries to sneak out of the office, but Lippman, he's waving her in to stay as he finishes the call. And he explains that was Lenny West, his accountant, who also handles... hell of a guy. Who also handles the Yankees. And Lippman recounts the whole, story of giving someone tickets to his daughter, who gave them to some friends. And then one of them showed up wearing a Baltimore cap.
Pressure's building, and Elaine, she's getting a little hot under the collar.
Anyway, she refused to take the cap off. She caused a whole big scene.
Really?
Yeah.
So impudent.
Yeah, so Lenny gave me the tickets for tomorrow night. I'm inviting Frank and Marcia. Want you to come.
I've got plans, though, Mr.
Well,
Lippman.
pray come. You missed the bris, I want you at the game.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
Okay, Mr. Lippman.
Oh, and Elaine.
Yes?
The Baltimore cap you got in your office, wear it. I'm going to have a little fun with it.
That will be fun.
Interesting little note to the script. Lippman also bought a painting from Nina, and it was hanging in his office. I saw there were paintings in the background. I don't know, for some reason they stuck out to me during the shots. But there was supposed to be a reference to him also having been forced to buy it.
Oh.
But apparently that was cut.
Okay. The one behind him, I think, looks like a print, So maybe she does printmaking. I don't know, but yeah, I wish we knew exactly which one was Nina's, if it is in fact hanging up. All in all, though, another great scene, right? With Julia just being nervous, just tense. So we cut to Nina's loft, and Nina is working on a painting while Jerry, he's just framed perfectly in the background. Kind of arrogant. His arms are out, legs are crossed, watching her.
He's cross-examining her right now.
Pretty much. So what does he asks if she's seen any good movies lately.
No, not really.
I like a good comedy. Like Neil Simon.
Neil Simon? I don't know any of his stuff.
No. Oh, my favorite would have to be Chapter 2. You ever seen that?
I don't know, maybe.
So the jig's pretty much up for Nina, right?
She's got a look on her face as if she's been had.
Yeah. I forgot this is how their relationship ends. Like, it's very, I don't want to say anticlimactic, but it's not incredibly confrontational where, like it reaches a boiling point or Nina admits that she stole the line. It's just Jerry kind of like saying, hey, I know what you did. Yeah. And she's just, like Elaine, she's caught. She's a little nervous.
And he didn't even get to that final moment because the doorbell rings and it's the Armstrongs.
Mm-hmm. They've decided to buy the Kramer, which I can't think of any better title for that painting. I know it's not incredibly original, but it's perfect.
Another additional script portion that was cut when the Armstrongs came in and said, "We want the Kramer." Jerry was going to be the one to respond and say, "Why would anybody want Kramer in their house all the time?" Which is
that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Maybe takes away from his confronting Nina a little bit.
Because there was also an alternate scene ending where Jerry was going to dump Nina by quoting the other Neil Simon play, Plaza Suite.
Ah.
But I feel like it was becoming too, I guess, cultured, for a lack of a better word. Because I've never seen a Neil Simon play, nor do I catch any of those references. So they would have had to establish that Jerry is now quoting Plaza Suite, a Neil Simon play.
The Chapter 2 thing works only because, like...
They told us.
Exactly. Whereas with Plaza Suite, we're the uncultured swines here that are like, Neil Simon?
Yeah. Who is this ghastly man?
Is that an Ace Ventura 2 joke?
You got it.
So, last scene of the episode is at Jerry's apartment. I'm sorry, second to last scene is at Jerry's apartment.
My mistake.
Jerry and George are watching a Mets-Orioles ball game, and George is shocked to hear that Nina sold to Kramer for $5,000, but not surprised to hear that she and Jerry are over. Jerry wants the squiggly art out of his house, but George tries to make him an offer of, $10. Give it to you for $10.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly, the baseball announcer on TV catches their attention.
Uh-oh, seems to be a lot of trouble in the area just behind the Yankee dugout.
Well, the dugout, that's where we were sitting the other night.
Boy, we're not going to show it. We don't want to encourage that kind of behavior. Hey, it's a young lady, and boy, she's really going at it with the security guard. She's a feisty one. And now they're getting the other security guard to come down. How do you like that, Seaver? And boy, she's something. And a Baltimore fan at that. Holy cow.
Now, I don't know if any of you guys recognize that voice, but that announcer was Phil Rizzuto, who, former ball player. He played for several teams in the majors, but he went on to become an announcer. And he's famous for his catchphrase, "Holy cow," which will also come to love in the pothole episode. So if you listen closely, that's the last thing he says to end the scene. If you think about what's going on with Elaine's storyline, she begrudgingly went to the game with Littman. She possibly brought the Orioles cap. She had another run-in with security and Lenny West, which means that Littman would have obviously caught her in this lie.
Mm-hmm.
And yet she still kept her job at Pendant after that.
Yeah. It's one of those things where things kind of reset. Well, even though Larry, I don't think, was a huge fan of that, just resetting for the next episode, pretend things never happened.
It's a write-off.
Yeah. It's a write-off for these people. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Littman never gets the full story. But then again, Littman has always seemed to be a pretty decent boss for all of the mistakes Elaine makes. Think of the War and Peace comment.
Mm-hmm, that's one.
And
bringing Boggle to a bar mitzvah.
Well, at that point, maybe Littman always had a thing for Elaine too.
Good point.
So who knows?
He had a soft spot for old Laney.
Shiksa. The last scene of the episode is at the Armstrongs, a very bizarre scene that I forgot even existed, but it's
Swanky Kramer.
Yeah, Kramer's eating dinner with the Armstrongs, this lavish table full of food and china and silver.
It's like a scene straight out of Clue.
It really is. But the painting, the Kramer, is hanging up right on the wall, and you have the Armstrongs on either end of this table playing kind of that bored rich couple that's like, ooh, tell us more about your adventures. And
they're hanging on his every word, though.
Right. He's going on about he ran away from home when he was 17 and he hopped a steamship to Sweden. Sweden, yeah, which seemed so just bizarre. I'm like, what? That never happened. Whatever.
I got to disagree with you, buddy.
Oh, I do too.
Oh,
I have to disagree with myself.
Because I think this is where he got all his material for his book, Astonishing Tales of the Sea.
Oh. Whoa, I didn't think of that either. Oh my God, you're blowing my mind. So let's wrap up this episode by talking about this. We have Astonishing Tales of the Sea, as you mentioned. So that's probably where he got most of that material from. Mm-hmm. We also have that whole plot line about him selling stories to Peterman. So we know Kramer is an adventurer of sorts.
And an entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur. Well. Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, did he get a cut of Nina's $5,000 that she got for the Kramer?
I doubt it as the subject. because she is the one that painted it.
All right.
Yeah.
He was the muse.
Yeah, you would think. This whole thing with Sweden captured my imagination because at first I didn't believe it. I'm like, oh, this is one of Kramer's made up stories or just, exaggerations. But Sweden kind of tracks through Seinfeld.
I got one line in the chamber that I'm thinking of right now.
Go for it. Fire.
A preteen or taught preteen Swedish boy.
There you go. That's in the Wait Out from season 7. So that's when Jerry's like, hey, Kramer, you were a different man back then. You can't fit in skinny jeans anymore. And he would make that comment, which seemed always kind of funny, if only for the absurdity and randomness of why a Swedish boy. But it would make sense if Kramer lived in Sweden as a teenager,
right?
But let's go back to the race episode, season 6, when he is the Santa Claus at Coleman's. There's a moment which is, I think it's a parody, pretty much, of Miracle on 34th Street when. A girl is sat on his lap. She doesn't speak English, and in that movie, he of course speaks the language. But in this one,
Archie,
I had no idea how to write that out. But it is sort of a mocking Swedish language.
Oh, very. I'm sure offensive to some.
Yeah, to say the least. It's very much like the Swedish Chef. So that makes sense. Like, even though Kramer doesn't speak the language he thinks he does because he's been there. And then there's the moment in the hot tub, season 7, when he's really relaxed. He just got the hot tub installed, and he tells Jerry, you got to take a soak. Like the hot and the cold. It's like Sweden, man. Sweden. So there's a lot of Sweden talk tracking throughout the show, which I never realized until Kramer made this comment about hopping the steamship.
It's all coming together.
There you go. So should we wrap up with the stand-up?
Yeah.
So baseball season is starting. I'm very excited about that. Did you ever sneak down to better seats at the game and get caught by the usher? When you're a kid, it doesn't matter because you're always getting chased from every place anyway. So when you're an adult, it's really embarrassing to get caught. You have to pretend like there's some confusion. So you put on this whole act. You're looking at the tickets. I don't understand how this could have happened. Let me see. Oh, I see the problem. These are very good seats. I have very bad seats. That's the misunderstanding.
Another genius observation from, we always say LD, but why not say JS? But to take something we've all done, or at least attempted to do, and then articulate it in such a way that it's relatable and makes us laugh, that's why he's up here and we're down here.
You like to quote Toby during these moments, like, so true, yes.
I really do.
But I would also, quote her here, because this is so
true.
I can't relate to this per se, but it hasn't happened often, but it has happened at times in my life where you just play dumb. Huh? Oh, yeah, the wrong.
Confusion.
I notice a lot of people do this with lines. That happens a lot. When you've been waiting in line for like 10, 15 minutes and someone will just find a way to kind of, if not cut in front of you, just kind of like think they'll merge in with you. And I'm so non-confrontational. I just like dread saying anything.
Just let it go.
But I don't know. I've gotten a spine lately. I'm starting to say things.
This happens to me at work when a prescription's done for somebody and we call their name. We say, Smith to the pickup line. We don't say window. We say line. But they will walk in front of the line to the window. Mm-hmm. But they're supposed to hop in line.
That's
anyway.
Not good. Get in line. Get in line.
Pinheads.
Ratings?
So, what do you think?
Everything's been said in this episode. I really enjoyed talking about this one. I think it flew by, and it was really easy to take notes on. Nina is a despicable human being.
Wow.
Well, she's really jealous. She wants to be controlling of Jerry. Doesn't want him to have any fun with anybody else.
To be fair, though, Catherine... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
Catherine Keener, man. She almost like balances it out. Like, I can't distinguish between the two of them.
And every time I see her in another role, like I find her adorable. Like she was adorable in 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I don't remember her in Malkovich, but
enough said.
She's
She's not very pleasant though. Her character.
She's a beautiful human being, but her character here, she's on our list. Kramer got probably one of the meatier storylines of this one, and this is one of the quintessential Kramer storylines, both with him being painted, which everybody, the prints of the Kramer were all over New York at this time. They're going for $20 a pop. And I actually had the Kramer poster in college.
Did you?
My problem with it, though, was that it's a poster, but it has the wood paneling in the poster. So, and then it was framed. So it's a frame within a frame of. So I wish it would just be the actual poster, and then let me frame it on my own, okay? You don't worry about the framing. So that was really nice, and Julia kind of, being the strong individual that she is, sticking up for her Orioles and her morals and everything.
Memorials.
Memorials. It's George. George didn't have as much in this episode, but he still stayed true to who he was, not wanting to pay for the painting, trying to duck out at the very last moment. Maybe I won't give her that money. And Jerry again, kind of being the the nucleus for all these events going on. But I'm not even gonna keep going because I just enjoy. I like Littman coming back. I like the old couple. I thought they were really a nice addition. They played their parts very well. But again, Larry David hitting another one out of the park. So I will give this episode 9 sexually depraved miscreants seeking to gratify only his most basest and immediate urges out of 10.
I think I'll agree with everything you had to say there. This is one of those episodes. Again, as much as I enjoyed watching it, I'm never in the mood to watch it. Like, I'm never like, oh, I got to watch The Letter. It's something that I'd be happy to find on TV, or if I'm watching a DVD and it's the third episode on the disc.
Yeah.
But I'm never going after it. So it's not in a way like a very like memorable or classic episode in that regard, despite some of the just hilarious moments in it. The baseball game with the hat and Kramer getting hit in the head, and the whole Kramer painting is wonderful. But other than that, I find George's storyline to be pretty dull. As much as we love Catherine Keener and seeing her on Seinfeld, this relationship with Jerry just isn't very memorable. There's nothing really there. It's more about like the unpleasant side of a relationship as opposed to the pros or the funny. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a pretty solid episode. Not one of the weaker episodes. Only thing I would change about it, if I could, is have more of a resolution between Jerry and Nina. I feel like they kind of deserved more of a, more of like a climactic ending to their relationship. I liked seeing Jerry confront her, the way he does the somewhat subtle, chapter 2.
You wanted to see the blimp exploding.
Yeah, well, I wanted Nina to either fire back at him or, just get something more, as opposed to just kind of fizzling out. And one thing I noticed with this episode, especially as we're, bouncing between Peter Millman and Larry Charles, you can really tell a Larry David script because it just flows so well. That might have to do with the shorter scenes than we're used to, but I just am in awe of this man's writing, especially because you sort of see him as the voice, the guy that oversees the entire production. So I don't know if he really gets as much credit for individual episodes that he wrote, other than, oh, that sounds like a Larry David joke, or, oh, that sounds like something Larry David would say. His writing, man, it moves.
It moves, baby.
Exactly. So ultimately, I will be giving this one 8.5 loathsome, offensive brutes out of 10. That's going to do it for us at Seincast. Vinny, how about you let everyone know how they can get in touch with us?
Sure thing, buddy. You can send us an email at seincast@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Just search Seincast. Follow us on Twitter @Seincast. And tweet us. And then we also have a Tumblr and a Pinterest. Is that right?
Yeah, every week.
I forget about the Pinterest one.
Question mark.
It's my shtick.
Also, if you haven't already, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes. We've gotten just a bunch on there so far, and it's just wonderful to hear from all the Seinfeld fans there and hear what you love about our show. So if you have a minute or two, please leave us a rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. Next week, we're discussing the 21st episode of Season 3, The Parking Space.
Why'd you tell them?
They begged me.
They begged you?
But for now, I'm Matt.
I'm Vinny.
Signing off. Seincast is not endorsed by Castle Rock Entertainment, Sony Pictures, or NBC, and is intended for information and entertainment purposes only. The official Seinfeld site can be found at sonypictures.com/TV/Seinfeld. Seinfeld, the Seinfeld logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Seinfeld characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Castle Rock Entertainment or their respective trademark and copyright holders.
I sense great vulnerability. A man-child crying out for love, an innocent orphan in the postmodern world.
I see a parasite. A sexually depraved miscreant who is seeking only to gratify his basest and most immediate urges.